So I've been working on this for about a week and a half and finally came pretty much to the end of it. It's just a couple of touch-ups, and what this is a dice tower for the Marvel Avengers versus X-Men. And it's mainly made out of the packaging, mostly the gravity feeds. So this here is the gravity feed that these little packages come in, and that's what a package looks like. So you can see I took the front of this here. You can actually see it in the back. Then you'll see like there's like one of the guys there, and the other guy there, and there they are. We used a lot of the cardstock that they had. See, there's a card. So he's got different abilities, but all the blue ones are the cards. I actually took the foil pack inserts. So you'll see like, here's one of the foil packs. I got a foil inside, so I used that as the background, so I was able to work that into it. And pretty much everything is from the packaging except for the felt lining, which I got over at Michael's for like just $1 or $2. And there's this plastic here that I got from my was it Tantive IV from the Star Wars miniatures, and the actual there's actually a whole box inside that supports everything that I got from my Golem Arcana packaging. But everything else is pretty much just glue and just packaging. So I put this is not attached yet, but I have a little well in there that the dice can slide into. And then you just put your dice in there, and they come right out. I like the little pegs. I thought it was different. I haven't really seen those before. And there was a lot of work that actually went into making sure that these were very sturdy, both to the actual frame or to the background, and the actual there's a lot of support within the pegs themselves inside. The little icons I got, if you look at the card in the upper left, so that's the X-Men team. So there's like 4 teams in all, so I was able to get those. You know, there's a lot in here. One of the things I noticed is the dice will keep sitting at the top of this ledge area, so I had to put this, I worked in the tinfoil again, and that pretty much helps the dice to actually bounce off and keep going down instead of getting stuck up there. This here on the side is actually like, I think it's like 4 layers of the Gambit card. So in person you can actually see it kind of comes out at you from an angle. And then there's a little bit like the plastic in front of him. And then here's the other guy, the Silver Surfer. So he's got 1, 2, 3 layers, I guess. Well, 4 for the background. And then all throughout the bottom here I have different cards. So there's Angel there. So you can actually see inserts, and the actual see what, like Wolverine there actually has his dice markers in there, so you know that's what you actually look at on the cards to see what kind of character, what kind of strengths you have, what level they are. You know, and it is on the inside as well. It's on both inside and outside. I would say that the bottom part was actually one of the parts that took the longest time. I have tons of these characters. I pretty much create one for every character there was. So I pretty much got a gravity feed. I've gotten a few, but the last one I got pretty much didn't have anything new in it that I didn't already have. It didn't even have any super rares. which I found a little disappointing. And I just had these gravity feeds just sitting around, and I was like, well, let's put them to good use. And this was a fun project, albeit an expensive project if you think about it. So it's 3 gravity feeds in all that was used in here, basically because the X-Men, Avengers X-Men background takes such a large amount of area. There was good coverage, so I got it on the back, I got it on the inside, and then when you flip up the bottom, it's also on the outside on the bottom. So it's 3 of them in all. And there's also a little bit of felt on the inside. So it was a very fun project. A lot of techniques I've learned through here. I've pretty much learned that you have to mark the sides of the cards to so that the white doesn't pop out. I've learned how to like cut half the thickness of the cards to help them wrap around each other. You know, even the cardboard here for the Dice Masters, the edges I've cut under, but then I also have the thicker cardboard was left on where the foil is, so to give it more support, an area to glue on to the foil where it was possible. Lots and lots of glue used throughout. Because I had 3 boxes, I was able to make a lot of mistakes. When I start coloring the edge of this guy, it started bleeding into the character. So I did it a second time with a charm. There were so many trials to figure out how to do the sides. Here's another one that I tried. Here's another. I think this one was like too thin, or I didn't cut it at the right areas. You know, sometimes I realized I cut it too close to the Dice Master, so I try to keep a lot of the kind of like the theming in place with so you could read everything. You know, here's a template that I was using to see how I could set things up. And that was made out of like these inserts that come with the dice and the cards, so that the dice don't mess up the cards too much. And then let's see, lots and lots of cards that were like cut up. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend people do this outright, because this is more of a art project than anything else. I don't really see any much else that's awesome into it. That's there. That's one of my templates I used a lot. And then I found one of these hole punchers at Michael's, and I found a smaller one to cut out the holes for these guys. And it was actually a little too big, so I actually had to marker in around the edges so that they look like they belong. The Avengers logo right there was perhaps the hardest because the tip of the A comes out and it's bright, so you don't want to overlap that or bleed into it. It's just a much higher chance that you'll bleed into it. There. So yeah, and it works. You know, I take my dice in. Yeah, and there you go. So that's the Marvel Dice Master Avengers vs. X-Men. One of the guys I play this with, I think will get an amazing kick out of seeing this in person. So, yep. So very small touch-ups are remaining Maybe like that area there, I need to figure out how to make it look better. You know, I want to make it so that the top can be put on and off easier. And look, it's got like different supports in there, just that people don't bang the dice down and ruin the card or make the card get dislodged. I mean, I have like little supports all throughout this thing like that. Even like in the edges here inside, there's like a big gap. But I kind of need it for that, for the 3D element here. Yeah, you can see I can finally clean up my workspace now. I mean, it's just been a mess. So, yeah. This is what remains. This stuff is awesome. This no stick removable tape. I used this a lot while things were gluing, and twist ties while the pegs were gluing. Twist ties kept them together. But yeah, very, very fun project. So actually, you'll see here. 1 second. Here, if you look right above the D is where you have a little bit of bleed in. So that's what happens. And I don't have too many of these, so this was the let's see, the first one I found that I had already cut through it before I started looking for this, so I only had 2 that I could use. So I think this was the first attempt, and this was the second. So I used this as the front. And there. Okay. Well, that's it. That's my little dice tower.